Hi, it's Anne here, and you can tell from the title, I hope, that this is a tag challenge video. This is a Project Pan tag challenge. So it's been a while since I've seen like tags going around. Maybe I'm just out of the loop. I am out of the loop, let's be honest. But so this one is all about project panning. So if you're part of the panning community and like you'll definitely resonate with a bunch of this stuff. If you're like, what the heck is panning? This will like maybe explain a little bit about it and like how it works and like not how it works, but like how it feels to do panning. And yeah, so first off, I just want to say thanks to Millie for including me on this tag. Actually, I need to say thanks to whoever referred me to Millie, but I don't know who referred me to Millie. So thanks to whoever referred me to include me in this project. I feel really happy to be included. Like I said, I've been out of the loop. I've been kind of struggling the last couple of months, but you know, I'm kind of getting back on track. And big part of that is you guys. I really appreciate the support I've had on my last few videos. It's definitely made me feel a bit better about coming back and like getting more back into this. I'm feeling a bit more inspired and a bit more motivated. So again, big thank you to you guys. Without further ado, let's just get into these questions. There are 10 questions in total. I do have some products here, not very many. I'll try and put pictures up of projects, like of products as I'm talking about them. If I can find them, I should be able to find them. Just more, let's be how lazy I am in terms of like digging to find some of them. So starting off with question number 1, how long have you been project panning? So for me, it's since January 2018. I don't think I did any intentional project panning prior to starting my channel, and I started my channel in 2018. And one of the like founding things for starting my channel was project panning. So videos 3 and 4 are project panning videos. So I sort of split when I started my project panning that year. I did one series of like hair care and skincare, and then another series of makeup. So my third video is my hair care and skincare, and my fourth video ever is my very first makeup project pan video. So I will link those below. I'll also link below any of my like project pan series that I have. Like I try and make playlists every year, at least of my annual project pan. So I will list that down below. I'll also list down like there'll be a contact list or a point of where other people's project pan tags are for this challenge. And of course, if you want to do the challenge too, I highly recommend, and you know, put a note down below saying you're doing the challenge and it's on your Instagram or your YouTube channel or both. So yeah, I would say January 2018 is when I officially joined the project panning community or project panning lifestyle. It's definitely a thing. Okay, so question number 2, my favorite product I've ever panned. Now I questioned what this actually meant. Like, is it the favorite product? Because sometimes for me, like a favorite product that I've ever panned makes me sad because I like the product, so I don't want to pan it. Or is it like a product that I've enjoyed panning? So I picked a couple. All of these things, I never picked one, by the way. It's like, what's your favorite, your least favorite? I have like several. I'm very bad at deciding, if you couldn't tell. So the first item that came to my mind was the NYC bronzer. So this was like a love, I don't want to say hate, there was no hate there. Definitely challenging at times, but I loved this product. But I think part of the reason why I loved it is it was super sentimental to me to use that product. I just, like, it was really sad letting it go. So I enjoyed like getting the full use out of it. It also reminded me of another favorite product was the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I've been meaning to repurchase that. I just haven't got around to repurchasing it because I do have enough bronzers right now. I know I like it, but I really enjoyed panning that. I generally enjoy panning bronzers. Like, it's definitely one of my favorite products to pan. I'm a bronzer fiend. If you couldn't tell. I definitely like to wear my bronzer. It just makes me feel good, makes me feel like, I don't know, I'm alive. I know blush is like that for some people. 2 other products that I thought of when I was going back through my list. So I do have my little notebook here. I did write the questions down in my notebook. This notebook I've had since 2019. I don't know where I put my 2018 stuff, like where I wrote that stuff down. And I have transitioned to putting all my project pan stuff on like an Excel spreadsheet. So like I think since 2020, all of my stuff is in Excel spreadsheets. So I do have like histories of everything, which kind of made this overwhelming, to be honest. So the other product that I enjoyed panning was the Too Faced Peach Perfect. Oh, I do have one of these. powders, which I don't, like, I know I'm going to put it in a project at some point, but I've been holding off because it was one of my favorite products to ever pan, one of my favorite products to use. I am so sad Too Faced got rid of that. Too Faced, please bring it back. Why? Why did you get rid of that powder? It was a great powder. Another product that I really like panning is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I know I've panned it more than once, or at least finished one more than once. I like the product, and it's also a very satisfying thing to pan because you can see the little, it's like a air vacuum tube, so it just squishes up as it goes up. So it's very satisfying from like a panner's perspective to visually see that little bottom line go very cleanly up and finish. Question number 3, the most frustrating pan I've ever completed. This is funny because sometimes when they're frustrating, I just don't complete them. There was a few things on here that I was like, okay, I don't know if I've like, I'm one of those people, that side tangent. I have a terrible memory and I tend to forget negative things, if that makes sense. Like when I have a bad experience with a person and it's like, oh, this was terrible. This person, like, that was a negative experience. I really dislike that person in that moment and whatever. I could spend time away from that person and then totally forget about that. Totally forget that, like, I had a bad experience. And, like, generally people will have to remind me, don't you remember, like, that's what they did? And, like, but I don't know. I can't hang on to stuff. So anyway, my memory's a bit hazy on the negatives, but one of them I recently remember was the Soul Body Shimmering Dry Oil in Sangria. And I just remember it being a slog to get through. It wasn't horrible, but it was very slow. It was one of those products, I remember I put it in the project at the beginning of the year and I shouldn't have done that because it just sat around and like was like a heavy weight in my mind. Like, you're not using the product, you're not using the product. I should have just waited and put it in the project for a time when I knew would make most sense to put it in the project. The Annabelle Blush Duo in Dollface. So again, I just called it frustrating because it just went on, and I thought I would have been done it sooner. And I was looking at my list and like it kept showing up in my list. I'm like, oh my God, I still like that one carried through multiple projects, like multiple years. And I was like, yeah, that was a bit trying at times. A lot of my lip products. So I wrote down one. I wrote the Revlon lip butter in 063 Wild Watermelon. I just remember at times, because that color was so bright that it got frustrating to use and I just wanted it to be done. But I enjoyed the product itself. Just the color was a bit like frustrating at times. But yeah, I wrote down any lip product that wasn't a balm or a sleeping lip mask. Because like, again, I get super gung-ho about like lipsticks and things. And then I get frustrated because they take way longer than I think they're going to take. And I wrote down particularly the ColourPop Oh Snap lip liner. Particularly lip liners. I think I'm going to go through them faster. I feel like in the past I used to go through them faster. And then now, I guess because I have so many, that I don't go through them as quickly as I used to, like prior to having my channel. So yeah, lip products I find frustrating, but I have completed some. So those are the ones that I've completed. Which leads into question 4. A product that got the better of me and I couldn't finish. There's a lot. So I wrote down almost every fragrance I've put in a project. I can't pan fragrances. I don't put them in projects, at least year-long projects, or at least I never intend to put them in a project to finish unless there's a very little bit left, because it's not happening. Like, I get sick of fragrances. I enjoy fragrances. I might still like it, but I find it really hard to use the same fragrance every single day. And then I also wrote down almost every lip product I've put in a project. There's a lot of lip products I've abandoned that I've either decluttered or I just pulled out and I'm like, we'll finish that at another time. I have one product here. So I didn't really give up on this, but this could have qualified for frustrating, because at times I was really frustrated at this. This is the Tarte Blush Bazaar. I think the challenge with this product was I watched Kat pan this baby. Well, she didn't have the exact same one, but she had one of these, and I think hers was from the prior year, and she finished it. And I'm like, how did you do that? But it's funny because I looked at this product, like I looked at some photos of this from when I started, and I'm looking at it now and I'm like, you know what, you did good, girl. Like, thinking about that party blush that's in my project now, or other blushes that I've had, like I have a dent in a couple blushes in this one. I hit pan on that one, and like I did pretty good. I hit pan on 2 of the highlights. So, you know, I don't want to say I gave up on this. I do see myself pulling this into a project again. I know I'm crazy, but it would be nice to try and hit pan. I'm pretty close, not close, but I'm definitely got some dents on the blushes on this side. And I enjoyed the blushes in this, so I can definitely see myself pulling that into a project again. Another product that, like, soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, that. It's the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Illumination. And the reason why this frustrated me so much is because it was a mini. I'm like, I should have been able to freaking finish this, and I could not do it. I'm like, nope, it's not happening. The product was so thick. You only had to use a tiny little bit. And the problem that I had was mine was in the shade like Ultra Fair, so it was very, very light. So yeah, and I just didn't like the way it sat under my eyes. I have very wrinkly under eyes, and it just did not happen. And then two other products, I was like, oh yeah, I guess I gave up on those two. One was the Pure 4-in-1 Pressed Compact. I think this just went bad on me. I think, and the color was not right, so it was hard to use. And then the Bare Minerals Translucent Duo. I had all the best intentions of finishing that, at least finishing the matte side. It's funny how our product, like, I loved that product when not loved it, but I used it regularly when I first got it. Because again, at the time, my skin was just a little bit different. It was more dry, or more oily. And I was into that more. I mean, this was like 2017, so the more matte was kind of like part of the gig, I guess. And so, yeah, and I realized, what was it, last year, that I'm like, nope, we're not doing it. We're not doing this anymore. We're just going to give up on it. Like, there's no point in forcing myself to finish it. That's something that I've had a hard time, like, reconciling with. I think when I first started panning, it was rare for me to really, like, get rid of a product. Like, I would pull a product out of a project and be like, okay, I'm going to pull this out because it's just not working. But very rarely would I, like, get rid of a product. And now I'm getting a little bit better, being like, you know what, if I can't pan this and I'm not enjoying using it at all, like I can't see myself going back to just play with it, then maybe it's time to let it go. Question number 5. A product that I thought would be easy but was actually hard. Everything? Again, I would never say I'm an optimist. I feel like I'm more of a realist. I'm a realist with a positive spin. That's how my brain works, I think. So it's funny, going back to a product, the NYC bronzer. So as much as I enjoyed that, and at times I felt slightly frustrated by it, I did think it was going to be easier, and at certain points it got kind of tricky. And the reason why was because the tone of it. It definitely had a very red undertone. The reason why I had that product for so long is because I really only used it in the summertime because I felt like it didn't look great with my like natural skin tone, but when I had a bit of a tan, I felt like it looked better, or like when I was wearing more of a summery makeup look, it looked better. I have 2 products here. So this was the other one that came to mind. The Nude Sticks Bronzer. This has just been a slog to get through. And again, I liked it at one point. Interestingly enough, it's very similar. It's that reddish tone. I do have it on today, but I've layered it with another bronzer. This guy, speaking about things like getting rid of, I do like it sometimes. I don't like it all the time. So it's hard to pan for me because it's not like it's not a daily go-to for me. It's not something I want to daily wear. It's something I want to wear when I feel like it. When I feel like a more reddish bronzer, I feel like it's going to go with the look that I'm going for. I didn't actually write this down because I didn't think about it when I was going through the questions, but when I was doing my makeup today, I'm like, oh yeah, here's one. It's looking really dirty. It's the NARS concealer. I really thought this baby was going to be easy, and it has deceived me. It's taken a lot longer. For me, it's interesting. Concealers used to be something I could go through fairly well, but I feel like I've slowed down on using concealers. Some days I just don't use it at all. So yeah, I've definitely slowed down on using concealers. And the way I've been kind of getting through some of them lately is kind of just using it as a base, like instead of foundation. And that's kind of got me through some of them. But yeah, this one took a lot longer. And then again, I wrote down again, lip liners and lipsticks. I'm always so positive with those. I think, oh, that'll be easy, especially ones that I find are daily wear ones. Like I've had a few where I'm like, this is easy for me to put on every day. But man, they just take much longer than I think they're going to take. Question number 6, a product that I thought would be hard, but was actually easy. So, again, maybe my optimistic mind, like, I don't think I've ever thought anything's gone the other way around. It took me a long time to find something, and the one that I wrote down was the Milk Highlighter in Lit. And I'm not sure I thought it was hard when I started it, but I remember not loving the color and being like, oh, this is not going to be enjoyable. And then slowly over time, I was like,
yeah, and I actually really like this color. And by the end, I was like, I really liked the product. I'm not going to buy it again because, again, that was a lot to get through it. I shouldn't say never, but I think, like, there's other highlighters, like cream highlighters, that I would prefer to try than go back to that one. But yeah, I just remember, like, it feeling a bit difficult at first and then really enjoying that product by the end in terms of panning. There's a lot of products I felt like that over time, like, that I was like, like the Merit Brow, it's like, but I started to really enjoy it by the end. The mascara that I'm currently using, I was like, but I'm really liking it now. I am wearing it today. It's the Maybelline, I think it's the Maybelline Lash Sensational. Although I wouldn't call it hard. Like, I didn't think it was going to be hard. I've just learned that I like it more than I thought I would. Or I'm liking it the more that I use it. The mascara is kind of, and I think the brow gel is kind of also because it dried out. Not necessarily, like, my feelings towards the product changed. The product also changed. Question number 7, my favorite project series. I like this question actually because I was like, instantly I was like, my regular project pan. I'm just like a plain Jane kind of girl. I do like my annual project pan. I've done it differently over the years and I've changed it. This year I kind of went back to, the first year I did like 18 in 2018 and that's how I started, and I realized that was overwhelming, so I whittled it down. This year I kind of decided to go back to, I did the 24 and 24. We're gonna roll it back next year. We're gonna go back to something a bit more simple next year. I do like doing just a basic, easy project pan. I mostly focus it on makeup and maybe throw a couple other items in, and that's it for me. Partners in Cream. So this year's the first year that I did Partners in Cream, and I've really enjoyed that project. Last month is the first month I missed my update for that, and that makes me really sad because I'm like, I didn't mean to miss the update, and I kind of went off track on that project, but I've been really good up until last month, so I was really happy with that project. It's been one, like, I don't know, I like focusing on the cream products. I feel like I'm making, and liquid products, I feel like I'm making progress on them. It's nice and simple and straightforward. He's getting ready to, he's like, come on, lady, stop filming, we gotta go. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. It was a big sigh. And then the other project, I was like, what was it called? And I had to go back through my videos. And we called it The Final Countdown. And I did this project with Jen. And I definitely want to do it again this year. It was a very short project. I think we started it beginning of November. And it was just like the final 2 months of the year. And just pick a bunch of stuff that we think we can just power through and finish. Or like make really good progress on. Or like hit pan or do it like our goal. And it was just a really simple, straight up, I think we just like, I had 4 items, I think, in the project. Like really simple, easy, short project to focus on. And I just really enjoyed it. It was nice to do that project with Jen. So question number 8, one product type I will always include in my project pan. So I found my answer to this kind of funny because number 1, I said primer. And I don't have any primers in my project pans at this moment. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Because that's something I find easy to use, and I've always talked about that. I always finish up at least 1 or 2 primers a year from project pans. And then I found, like, again, my second answer is like foundation. I always include foundation because I feel like most of my foundations are in clear jars. They're very satisfying. Sorry if you hear tippy tappings. Like I said, he's getting a little impatient. Wrong question 8, buddy. We got 2 more. Foundations, like, they're usually in jars. You can see them. Again, they're a product that I use every day, and I feel like I use a decent amount. Until recently, like this summer, I've definitely like on foundations. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Pun intended. For the rest of the year and into next year, like going forward, because I am wearing like full foundation today, but it's like, again, I'm not wearing as much as I used to, if that makes sense. Question number 9, a product I'm currently struggling on, but I'm sticking with it. I think you can all guess what this one is. Say it louder. My Winky Looks. My stupid brow product. I'm not hating it now. Like, I'm not disliking it. I do have it in my brows today. I've mixed it with the Essence, whatever their brow gel is. That's kind of like the NYX equivalent. I do not love it, but I don't hate it. Like, I am getting through it. I am bound and determined to finish this baby, but obviously I won't repurchase it. But man, like, I was looking back, like, this has been in so many projects. Same with this. So I did kind of laugh. This isn't like, I would say like struggling, but I laughed. This was in my 2018 project. This is the Party Blush. So like this guy, like I've got to finish this by the end of the year. I wouldn't say this was a struggle though, at least now. I think at a certain point it was maybe a struggle, but right now it's not been a struggle. I know, so why did it all of a sudden get very cloudy, buddy? It's very windy out too. Last question. One tip or hack I use in my project pan. So I've said this before and I'll continue to say it. Keep it simple. I think that's my best hack or tip. I really, as much as I like doing project pans, I think I struggle. I feel like I struggle more than other people. I feel like I'm a lot slower than other people. I feel like I feel more challenged than other people at times. That like they get through stuff and I'm like, how? They're like, oh, this will be done next month. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, how? And then they are done next month. And I'm like, oh, okay. Whereas, like I said, like this, like, not that I'm frustrated, but I just like, a little disappointed in myself that I couldn't have moved it along more than I thought I would. So keeping it simple is better. And one of the main rules I've put for myself, although I'm kind of, you know, I break the rule, you know, once you know a rule, you can learn how to break it effectively, is one product per category in a project. So like I might have a product, like I might have a blush in 2 projects, but I try and avoid 2 blushes in one project, if that makes sense. Like one blush, one bronzer, one eyeliner. I try and keep it just like one at a time because I find if I have more than one product in that category, they compete too much with each other. Unless they can play nicely together, like I have put in 2 eyebrow products because I was using both at the same time. I've put in, like I have 2 foundations in my project pan right now because they sort of serve different purposes. Although the one is lagging and it's like, why did I even bother putting it in the project? I don't even know. I mean, it's nice to have it in there when I do take a break from my Misha BB cream, but yeah, it's like keep one product per category in a project. And again, when you have multiple projects, think about what you have in the other projects to try not compete too much, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard sometimes, but for the most part, yeah, one product per category in a project. So that is it. That is the answers to the 10 questions for me. For my experience of going through project panning the last, what are we at now? 6, how many years? 6 years? Yeah, I guess like this would be my 6th year of project panning. That's just wild. Crazy. But it's good. I like it. I really like this community. Like I said at the very beginning, like this is such a supportive community, and I appreciate that, you know, there's not a box that you must project pan in. Everybody has different styles. Everybody approaches it differently. I really like when I see people doing creative things. Like Jessica Lee always does little creative things. I'm blanking on, I'm really bad with names sometimes. Danny does some really creative things to like get through stuff. It's a very fun and supporting community, and one of the reasons why I love project panning is because it really reminds me to love the products that I already have and make sure I'm using what I already have instead of like being distracted by the new shiny thing and buying something new. So anyway, if you like this video, feel free to give it a little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.